Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair wa bika nasta'inu ya fattahu. Rabbi zidni ilma. Ameen. Today we are here to discuss the exam that had been given, and we have already done the first 7 sections, and in that I just wanted to clarify one thing, that for al-ladina, whether it's common or proper, one of the reasons that I gave was that it has alif lam. It is because Ustad said that he will give it even if someone has mentioned alif lam, but actually it is ism mawsool, and ism mawsool are all proper. So I just wanted to clarify that, and starting with the section 8 now. Tell the status of the pronouns. So it is, the pronouns that are present over here, we have to tell the status, whether it's rafa, nasab, or jar. Now, one thing before we attempt this section is that I just wanted to, go through it again, and that is all independent pronouns are in the rafa status. Okay, so all independent pronouns are always in rafa status. Then for nasab and for jar, we have 2 conditions. Okay, so for jar status, if any pronoun is attached to any of the harf of jar, then it is in the jar status. And if any pronoun is attached to an ism, it is in the jar status. That is, the pronoun will be in the jar status, because when it is attached to an ism, it becomes mudaf ilayh. Now we are left with the nasab status. Any pronoun, if it is attached to any harf of nasab, it is nasab status. Okay, so the pronoun will be in its nasab status. And another thing is that any pronoun which gets attached to a fi'l, it is in the nasab status, because when it is attached to a fi'l, the attached pronouns becomes the detail. Okay, and when we do the questions over here, I think inshallah it will be clearer. So first is bikunna. Bikunna, the answer is that the attached pronoun kunna is in the jar status. Why? Because it is attached to a harf of jar. Okay, then imanuhum. Imanuhum is their faith. Imanu is ism. Okay, and because this pronoun is attached to an ism, this pronoun becomes mudaf ilayh, that is their faith or their iman, and in other words, it is iman of theirs. Okay, so it is also in the jar status. Then anti. Anti is an independent pronoun, and as we know, all independent pronouns are in the rafa status. Innana. If we look here, this na is the attached pronoun, and before that we have inna. And if we remember from what we have already learned, harf of nasab are inna, anna, bi annaka, layta, lakinna, la'alla, right? So this is inna, and it is a harf of nasab. Then la'allakum. La'allakum, again, the pronoun is kum, and what we have over here is la'alla. La'alla is another harf of nasab. Inna, anna, ka'anna, layta, lakin, la'alla. Okay, so over here also the pronoun is in the nasab status. Next one is huwa. Huwa is an independent pronoun, so it is definitely in the status of rafa. Then fikum, if you remember, fi, this fi is harf of jar, and since this pronoun is attached to the harf of jar, therefore it is in the jar status. Then nasaraka. Now nasaraka, over here, this kaf is the attached pronoun, right? And nasara, if we remember our chart, of the past tense, the first word that was there was nasara, right? Nasara, nasara, nasaru. So nasara is fail, and because this pronoun is attached to a fail, then this becomes the detail, right? And therefore this pronoun is in the nasab status. And just if we, because the translation has been given, he helped you. So you, that is ka, is translated as you, and you is the detail. He helped, and who did he help? You, right? So you is the detail, therefore it is in the nasab status. Kitabuna, kitabuna, kitabu is ism, as we already know, and na is attached to this ism, therefore it becomes mudaf mudaf ilay, and it is in the jar status. Then nahnu, nahnu is an independent pronoun, and it is in the rafa status. Okay, and now we go to the next section, that is section 9. Match these fragments with their correct label. Okay, so I'll just go through all the fragments that are given here. Hada shay'un, dhalika rajulu, shay'un ajibun, innahum billahi, hadihi fatimatu, du'a rasuli. Okay, now from here, first is idafa. Okay, now idafa is basically which one is the mudaf mudaf ilay from the things that are given, from the fragments that are given here. Now if we see, this is ishara, ism ishara, so this is definitely not. This is ism ishara, this is not idafa. Shay'un, this is heavy, so this cannot be mudaf. Innahum, no, because this is harf of nasab, this is harf of jar, this is again ism ishara. So the only thing left over here is G. Now let's see if this can be mudaf mudaf alay or not. The two conditions for being mudaf mudaf alay are that the mudaf should be light and there should be no al. So this is light and no al, and the mudaf alay should be in the jar status, and this is in the jar status. So this one is actually mudaf mudaf alay. So G is idafa. Now mausuf sifa, right? Mausuf sifa, if we remember, the noun and the adjectives have to be same in all the 4 properties, right? So over here, if we see hada shay'un, and this is basically the ism ishara, both of them, and then we come to shay'un ajibun, right? So shay'un ajibun is basically, if we see, both of them are proper. Both of them are basically heavy, and yes, rafa status, so it is status, and then number is singular. Status number, gender is masculine for both of them, because there are no signs of being feminine, and then common or proper, and because there are no other signs, so these are both common. So shay'un ajibun match in all the 4 properties, so it is idafa. And a very easy, a quick thing is, generally, it's not 100%, but generally what happens is, if they sound the same, like ayatin mutashabihatin, we have done that before also, shay'un ajibun, right? So ghafurur rahimun, something like that. So that also, I will not talk about ghafurur rahimun because that is a more complex thing, but over here shay'un ajibun is basically, it is mausuf sifa, that is noun and adjective. Okay, and then the harf of jar, it is very easy to recognize, because right now over here we have already memorized the harf of jar, ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, min, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila, right? So over here we have this ba, billahi, so this is the harf of jar. Then harf of nasab also we have memorized, inna, anna, bi anna, laita, lakinna, la'alla, right? So over here inna is present, the D. So this is the example of harf of nasab. Okay, now comes ismul ishara and musharun ilay. Now here, I'll just do a quick review that ismul ishara and musharun ilay. Ism ishara we have already done. If you remember, hada, hadani, haulai, right? And hadi, hadani, haulai. So that, and then dhalika also. And the fragment will be ismul ishara and musharun ilay if is ishara is followed by alif lam. Okay, and keep this in mind, because this thing is very critical. Ism ishara followed by alif lam can only make the fragment of ishara and musharun ilayh. Okay, so over here, if we see haza shay'un, haza, that is the ism ishara is not followed by alif lam. So this is not zalika rajulu. Zalika is again ismul ishara, and it is followed by alif lam. So this is basically the ismul ishara and musharun ilay. Okay, now we are left with the first, that is A, and the second last, that is F. Now, we just talked about ismul ishara and musharun ilayh. Now, when ism ishara, that is the pointers, are followed by alif lam, it becomes, or it combines to make a fragment, that is ismul ishara and musharun ilayh. When the pointers or the ismul ishara are not followed by alif lam, then we put an is in between, and that makes it a sentence. Okay, so hadha shay'un is a sentence. Okay, and similarly hadhihi is again ism ishara, right, for the feminine, singular feminine, and hadhihi is ism ishara not followed by any alif lam. So this is hadhihi fatimatu. This is also a sentence. And I think that is it for this page. And now we will go on to the next one, and that is basically section this is the third page, and the section which is talking about it requires a bit of detail, so I will go slow, and inshallah, let's see. Inshallah. So this section is basically first determine if each of the following is past or present tense, and then write the English meaning of the inside doer. And be careful, it is the meaning of the inside doer. So even if we see any attached pronouns, be careful that we will not consider those attached pronouns. And we will start with the first one. Just before that, I will give you a few tips, of few clues regarding this. And this is basically that over here, they are all verbs, right? And for verbs, we have done two tables. Okay, so the past tense table, I'll just quickly do it, and then I'll do the present, so that it's a brush up for all of us, and then it's easier to recognize whether they are past or present. So the past tense table: nasara, nasara, nasaru, nasarat, nasarata, nasarna. Sorry, huwa nasara, huma nasara, hum nasaru. Hiya nasarat, huma nasarata, hunna nasarna. Anta nasarta, antuma nasartuma, antum nasartum, anti nasarti, antuma nasartuma, antunna nasartunna, ana nasartu, nahnu nasarna. So this was the past tense table, and then we will do the present tense. Okay, and I'm just doing it so that it's easier for us to follow. The present tense table will be huwa yansuru, huma yansurani, hum yansuruna. Hiya tansuru, huma tansurani, hunna tansurna. Anta tansuru, antuma tansurani, antum tansuruna. Anti tansurina, antuma tansurani, antunna tansurna. Ana ansuru, nahnu nansuru. So this was the present tense table. And now if we start from here, tushrikuna, right? Tushrikuna, let's see, one of the tips is that if the word that is present in this section, if it starts with ya or ta or alif or na, it is a clue. Most probably it is from the present tense. So tushrikuna, if we go to the table, it starts with the ta and tushrikuna, and it matches to some extent with tansuruna, right? And therefore it is a present tense, and it is, from the table, it is from the second person, right, and plural. So it is you all. Then yaqtatilani. Yaqtatilani, If we go back to our table, it is yansurani, right? It sounds similar, ani, ani. So again, it is, and because it starts with a ya, it is, it is a clue. It's not always, but it is a clue that it is from the present tense. Yaqtatilani. Okay, and dual, so it is both of them. And because it is, if you remember, the sessions that we have already done, ya plus ani is dual and third person, ya plus ani. So it is both of them and it is present. Then the next one is na'budu. And if you remember, alif and noon, they were for the first person, right? Ansuru and nansuru, and this is na'budu. So because we can see it matches with nansuru, na'budu, right? So it is present and the inside doer is we, nahnu na'budu. Okay. Now this one, taskunina. Now this is from the entire table of the present and the past, this is one which is very characteristic, as in it is very different. So this thing definitely matches tansurina, taskunina, right? Tansurina, taskunina. Okay, so this is the second person feminine, which is you, feminine. We go to the next one, yufarriqna. Okay, yufarriqna. Now this is also very characteristic of the feminine plural. If you remember, so it is the sukoon and then followed by noon fatha. It is quite characteristic of the feminine plural, and because it starts with ya, right, and it ends with the sukoon and then the noon, so it itself indicates that this is present and this is feminine, and the inside doer is them, ladies. Udkhilu, if you remember ansuru, udkhilu, this is also present and it is the first person present, which is I. Now, tashhadna. Tashhadna, if we see it is, it starts with the ta, which indicates that it is present tense. And then if we look at the end, it is the sukoon followed by noon fatha, right? So it is basically the feminine gender, and then it is for the second person, that is all you ladies. Okay, now we come to sabarna. Okay, now sabarna, if we remember, the clues that Ustad had already given, the present starts with ya, ta, alif, or noon, right? Now this one does not start with any of those, so most probably this is the past tense. Most probably, rather it is, because if it was a present tense, then it should have begun with ya, ta, a, or na. But if it is not starting with that, then it is past tense. And sabarna, if we look at the table, nasarna, right? So this is present, this one is past tense, sabarna, and because this is this na, it means we, right? Nahnu nasarna, if you remember. So this will be nahnu sabarna, we. We go to the 9th, and this is yajhadu. It starts with ya, right? And if we look at our table, it is yansuru, yajhadu. So this is definitely a present tense and singular masculine third person, which is he. Now this is na'lamu. It again starts with na, and if we look at our table, nansuru na'lamu. So this is present tense, and the the English meaning of the inside doer, that is we. Nahnu na'lamu. Now this one is yastansiru. Okay, it starts with ya, one of the indications is that it starts with ya. And then, the thing is, definitely it is present tense. And then yastansiru, if we look at our table, it is, the yansuru. So it matches, the beginning and the ending matches. So this one is again present tense, masculine, third person, singular. So it is he. Now this one is ta'awanu. Ta'awanu. Now this is a bit tricky, so I'll just try to explain it, inshallah. And this one is basically, in fact, it has begun with ta, but this is an exceptional case. So I will just tell, and in the end, if anybody has any confusion, you can ask, inshallah. So ta'awanu is basically, it is from the plural, and it is past tense. So ta and ya and everything, it is it comes into consideration, but not 100%, not always. So we also have to look at the words and then decide. So this ta is basically a part of this word. Okay, so ta'awanu is past tense, and it is all of them. Okay, so if you remember, and one of the biggest indications that it is a past tense is, I'm just giving you a trick, and that is, if we have waw sakin followed by alif, which like we do not pronounce, it has no function apparently, but it is there. That is the biggest indication that it is the past tense, and in past tense also it is the third person plural past tense. Okay, so this is like a big clue for that. Ashraktum. Okay, ashraktum. Now here we have the attached pronoun. We will not consider the attached pronoun. Sorry. So ashraktum is definitely, because this is from the table of the past tense. Ashraktum, nasartum. So definitely this is, past. You all. Tum. Antum ashraktum. Antum nasar. Okay. Now allamtunna. See, at times past tense is really easy when the ending is that antunna, antum, or anti, nasarti, stuff like that. Then definitely we look at it and we can get to know for sure that this is past tense. So allamtunna is definitely past tense. Antunna, allamtunna. So this is all of allamtunna. So I think over here they have made a mistake over here. So it is all of you ladies. Okay. Okay. Ihtaramti. Fine. So as we have talked before, that past tense by the ending, sometimes it becomes really obvious that they are past tense. And nasarti, ihtaramti. Right? So it is you, she. That is singular, feminine, second person. Now this one is warraqna. Warraqna. If we look at the table, nasarna, right? So this is past tense, and because of the na that is there, it is the inside doer is be. Now the next one is tana pasata. Okay, and if we look at the ending, see, sometimes, as I mentioned before, sometimes that the ta or the a or anything of that matter, of those alphabets, they are a part of the word also. So we can't always go by that. What we have to look for is beginning with ya, ta, alif, or noon, and then the ending also, right? For the present tense. But here the ending is different, so we will not consider it the present tense. And if we look at the end, it is Fasa, ta, right? And that itself gives us the indication that it is dual, right? And if you remember, nasara, ta, right? Nasarata, and this one is both of them ladies, which is you know, third person, feminine, and dual. Now this one again, jahadu. If you remember what we had talked about, ta'awanu, we again have the vaw which has a sukoon. It's not written over here, but it has a sukoon, and then followed by a alif, which is not pronounced, right? So this itself gives us the indication that this is past tense. And jahadu, this is, I think it is a mistake again over here, and it is basically all of them. Okay. Qatalat, this is quite like apparent that this one is the past tense nasarat, right? And it is the inside doer is she. Tahara, tahara, again nasara, right? So it is past tense and it is he. Now we come here, and it is aqamu huma. Okay, aqamuhuma. Now this is a bit tricky because it is attached to a pronoun, right? And this pronoun is one of the attached pronouns, so we will not we should not get actually confused, because huma does not come in any of our tables, right? Tuma comes, but huma never comes, right? So this is an attached pronoun. We will not consider that. And aqamu, the vaw with sukoon tells us that again it is the past tense. Alif was supposed to be here, but because of this attachment, alif has been dropped. Okay. I know this is a bit tricky, but I will just try to explain. And if you have any confusion, you can ask me separately later, or you can ask here, inshallah. So aqamu is basically the extra alif has been dropped because of the attached pronoun, and this vaw with sukoon, this itself shows that this is the past tense, and it is plural third person masculine. Okay. Now akalahu, who, if if we just look at it closely, we know that this is an attached pronoun, who, because who does not come in any of our tables. So the actual word is akala, and yes, it it is similar to nasara, akala, right? So it is past tense, and the inside doer is he. Now over here, aslahatkum. So if we just look at the word, we can see that this kum is actually the attached pronouns. We will not consider this, and this is aslahat. So aslahat itself, it sounds familiar because it rhymes with nasarat, aslahat. So this is again past tense, and she, as in third person feminine singular. Qatala hum. Now hum is the attached pronoun over here, and qatala is similar to the nasara. So it is past tense, and it is he. So past tense masculine singular third person. And I think we will do it till 24, and the rest, inshallah, I will start with it in the next session, inshallah. Jazakallahu khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.